Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. So, in a turn in the news, a twist, I guess, turns out that the militia group uh, that was attempting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan is not right wing, which should be even scarier than the pendulum swinging. See, when the pendulum swings, you can predict it. You know what I'm saying? But this was I don't want to call them far left, but they were an anarchist group, Marxists, whatever you want to call them. But anarchists believe in no form of government. So it turns out one of the guys involved in this actually went on a months-long tirade about how Trump is a tyrant and hates him, and this should be done and that should be done. And I'm thinking that's what drew the attention of the Secret Service because, they monitor all that. So let me read you this article. But watch how the news is playing it. See, they're playing it dirty. I still have friends on Facebook who think this was the Proud Boys or some right-wing militia when honestly it wasn't. So Michigan's Attorney General, and this is an article by Celine Gastronavovo from the Papers, The Hill, October 9th, 2020, so that's today. Now keep in mind this information about this group came out yesterday, so they should have known better than to publish something like this, but of course, they did. It says Michigan's Attorney General on Friday said that Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Democrat from Michigan, was aware for months that authorities were tracking a group of men allegedly plotting to kidnap her, with the governor and her family being forced to move around in order to maintain her protection. Got a little quote in here from one of the guys. But it's basically just talking about them moving. But I want you to listen closely. On Thursday, the FBI announced that it had foiled a plot by men linked to the militia group Wolverine Watchmen to kidnap the governor and raid the state capitol building in Lansing. The Attorney General announced at a press conference on Thursday that the men made threats of violence to instigate a civil war leading to societal collapse. Because that's what anarchists do. They want the collapse of society. Marxists want the collapse of society. See, are you starting to put it together now? But you see, they didn't call them an anarchist group. They called them a militia group. And when you think militia, you think right wing, right? It's not a right wing issue right now. The Attorney General announced at a press conference on Thursday that the men made threats of violence. I read that. Okay. I told you yesterday they were probably going to do life in jail. Let me get down here to the governor's quote. Trump live stream. Thursday, Whitmer said President Trump's refusal to denounce extremist groups during the first presidential debate acted as a rallying cry to the militia groups allegedly involved in a kidnapping plot. Of course, Trump came on and responded. But let me actually read you what he responded with. I do not tolerate any extreme violence. Defending all Americans, even those who oppose and attack me, is what I will always do as your president, Trump tweeted. So, to get this straight, she's partly right, But it's not that President Trump hasn't denounced militia groups. It's that the Dems haven't. It's that the Dems, here's what these anarchists and looters and people like Antifa and the Wolverine Watchmen are seeing. They're not going to be prosecuted in Democrat-run states and cities. So these guys probably didn't think anything about it. We do whatever we want because there's no law and order in these cities. But now I want to see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris should be forced to come out and denounce these left-wing anarchist group. Because see, here's what they're not picking up on, or maybe they are. I don't know, but if they're smart, they would do something about it. Because anarchists like Antifa and this anarchist group and all these other anarchist groups, Marxist groups, they don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. Keep in mind, that guy streamed some of the stuff he said about Trump. And I'm like, how'd you expect not to go to jail, dummy? You're threatening the President of the United States. But it's become such a mainstream thing to do. See? Now, I guarantee you Biden and Harris won't come out and denounce these groups. No, of course not. They're too busy bailing them out of jail so they can continue doing what they're doing. And they're not getting, they don't care. Doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican, you're a politician, they're going to come after you. Makes no sense to me. And you're not going to see CNN or CNBC denounce these groups. They won't do it now, and they're burning down cities. They're injuring people. They're killing people. You know, all in the name of what? You don't win wars in the streets. Yeah, I said it. You don't win a war in the street. You win a war at the negotiating table. But when your violence takes you so far outside of that negotiating table that the other side's not willing to negotiate with you, are you going to get this prolonged war till one of you is gone? So as far as I can see, the right hasn't even started striking back yet. This is all leftist stuff. Ridiculous. Like I said, I still have people on my personal Facebook that are, oh, well, look, and do, and, you know, I bet it was a right-wing group, and they're just pretending to be anarchists. You don't pretend to be anarchists for 2 or 3 years and put everything in public and risk going to jail for the sake of pretending to be an anarchist. These are actual anarchists, and you have them in your midst, politicians. You're cheering them on. Now your kids are out of control. My question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to come out and denounce this? Are you going to stop bailing them out of jail? Probably not. You're not even going to denounce it. Democrats are those parents right now who don't put their kids in place, no matter what they do. Little Johnny's out there smoking meth. Oh, my poor baby. Little Johnny rapes a woman, shoots somebody. My poor baby, they took my poor baby to jail. No, your poor little baby got sent to jail. Let's just call it what it is. At a point, Democrats have to step up and start governing. You have to step up and govern, and not just pass silly laws to shut down the businesses of regular everyday people, or to take their right to defend themselves away from them, or release countless numbers of murderers and rapists back into the streets. You have to actually start governing. You know, it's I say, hey, if you're a Democrat, go support a third party. If you don't like Trump, go support a third party. I wouldn't mind seeing the rise of a third party, because then we don't get this crazy pendulum effect, and people will have to actually start governing. And this is not governing. In Oregon, I read you the thing the other day where the governor wants to take away or de-deputize the state patrol troopers, and they're like, no. The DA's like, one of the other top officials or federal officials like, no, we're not taking that back because you're not making arrests. You don't want to make arrests. And when you do and when our guys make arrests, you release them right back to the street. You don't want to prosecute. We're going to prosecute. That's what we need right now, that toughness. Sorry you have to hear it, but it is what it is. We need toughness. It's not a slap on the wrist time anymore. So I just wanted to get that out there because, remember, I thought it was a right-wing militia group too. And I went into the whole pendulum effect thing. Boy, was I wrong. But you know what? When I'm wrong, I can say I'm wrong. I admit it. I was wrong. Anarchist. Go figure. Like, subscribe. You can find that full article on my Facebook page. So if you're not on my Facebook page, The Dan Dawson Show, make sure you get over there. Also on my Facebook page, I'll let you know when I have new videos up. So like, subscribe, share this video. Do what you got to do.